up, hobby friends, and welcome back to Paint Bravely, the podcast where you can find a little bit of encouragement, discover new ways to make your hobby more fun, and most importantly, learn to paint bravely. Now, today is kind of a special episode. It's not quite our 2-year episode yet. That's coming up, but this is episode number 50. So we hit the big 50, and I think that deserves a little bit of attention. That's a lot of episodes.
That is a lot of episodes. Thank you for being here, if you're still here. By definition, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, if you're still here, thank you for still being here. 50 episodes is a lot to get through, and there've been some ups and downs with this podcast. Let me tell you, like we've talked about a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and then just a lot of long, boring stretches of flat plains, and who knows where it's going?
Right.
What's over the next horizon? You know, so
a whole lot of nothing.
But we're here now, and that's the important thing.
Yeah. Speaking of nothing, what have you been up to in the last few weeks?
Oh, not that much, Casey.
Oh, good.
Nah, playing with speed paint. You'll see all this on the YouTube channel, but I was trying speed paints for their intended purpose of painting a lot of D&D minis fast, and actually, pretty good.
Yeah.
Nice little break just to churn out stuff fast, and yeah, they do the stated thing of it takes as long as it takes to put down a base coat to paint some minis, so there you go.
Was that the case before?
Well, I mean, for me, my normal way of painting is put down a base coat, maybe put down some shades, maybe put down some highlights, some details. But it's nice if you just cut out all the later steps and you just kind of take the time to put down a base coat, and then it's all there, and it's going to look as good as it's going to look, and you got some minis.
Yeah.
Nice change of pace.
Yeah, they look good. I think for sure for like a game, obviously they're going to do just fine.
Yeah.
So that's always nice. Get a little, just to crush like 25 minis in a day too. That's good.
That's exactly what I did. It was 22, 23 in like 2 days sort of thing. And yeah, it feels nice.
Yeah.
So these are all just background NPCs for my D&D game, like something to populate the taverns and streets. And they don't need to look good. They're not going to be in focus. They just need to have some colors on there, a little bit of variation. Seem like I sort of tried and put some colors on there. Mission accomplished.
Right. Speaking of which, how is that D&D session going?
My D&D game is going great. 20-Sided Realms, the podcast.
Yeah.
The 20-Sided Realms podcast. TSRP.
Ooh.
Yeah.
20. Yeah. No, it's
going
just
well.
20-sided.
We've got some people listening. Yeah, I made that Hero Forge video a month or so back, and halfway through the Hero Forge video, I just made a hard switch to a painting montage where I just force-fed everyone who was still watching the first 14 minutes of the 20-Sided Realms podcast. And on the analytics, I could see the watch time go way down.
Right, there's that like, downward like slope, and then it flattens for a bit, and then it goes back up.
Yeah, it didn't take people long at all to figure out that I had stopped doing the voiceover and just was putting in B-roll of painting while playing the first 14 minutes of that podcast. But I did get 20% of everybody who watched that video to listen to our podcast, and had a conversion rate of like 0.5% of those people go and download the podcast. So
that's good.
That's another mission accomplished right there. Yeah.
Heck yeah. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Well, if you are listening to this podcast, I do highly recommend going and checking that out. Since you're already listening to a podcast, it seems like not a huge stretch to like download another one. Like just to have it there. Just make Brent.
It's the switching platforms that's so hard. Yeah.
Well, it depends on yeah, that's true. Like on what platform you use. I don't know. I mean, if you are on YouTube, there is supposed to be a YouTube channel, right?
Oh, there will be. That's why I'm painting all these D&D figures.
Right. Yeah.
Get some pretty images for the YouTube channel. Yeah.
See, then it'll be even easier to, if you're watching this on the youtube.com/paintbravely the podcast to just switch there. And then we'll just be telling you to subscribe. So that's a whole other thing. It'll come. That'll come at some point. Yeah.
All this cross promotion, and I appreciate it, Casey. Asking these leading questions, just taking me right there to check out 20-Sided Realms, the podcast.
It's really because I feel bad because I haven't caught up.
What have you been up to, Casey? Let's turn this right back around.
Yeah. Not a whole lot. I finished a video. I painted my my Avatar of Cain, my old pewter one, that I bought off eBay in like 1998, I think it was. Pretty sure it was 98. I remember it pretty clearly.
Good year.
Ish. It was a good year. Yeah. But I spent way too much money on an auction on eBay and got the Avatar of Cain. And like I kind of painted him, and then I kind of repainted him, and I kind of repainted him again, like over the next year. I painted him like 5 times. He looked like garbage. And I finally decided, even though that's one of the older miniatures that I had, I just never really liked the way it turned out, even from back then. And it was kind of like, well, I already tried to repaint it a whole bunch of times. So it didn't really feel like a bad thing to go back on that old of a model, Like I wouldn't repaint some of my first models because that feels wrong. Like it's where you were at the time. This one was more like I was just kind of slopping paint on trying to do something. But so I repainted him, and I'm pretty happy with it. And I got a heart from the Warhammer community team on my post, so I feel pretty good about that.
Hey, they're really into that Avatar of Cain keyword right now.
Well, that's the funny thing, right? It's just happened to be like the best timing for the new Avatar of Cain that's coming out, and the model dropped today, and he looks pretty cool. It's not bad. It's like a nice updated version, so I'm pretty happy about that. I'm definitely gonna pick that up. But I'm glad that I kind of followed through after 24 years, 23 years, and actually
you got
finished.
There eventually?
I did, and that's the important thing. Eventually, you will get there. It's just a matter of time. It's okay. Just take all the time you need.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You did it.
But, yeah, I feel good about it. It's kind of weird seeing it now. It's like, oh yeah, it's the way it always should have been. It's the way it was in my head. Yeah, so I did that, and then I started painting Rabute Guillemon this week. The Primarch for the Ultramarines.
Is this the plastic kit from a few years ago?
Yeah. I found him for like half price on eBay, and I bought that thing. And I realized when it got here, he's like missing a bunch of stuff.
Oh, okay. You like that though. That's what you do.
Exactly. Turns out though, like after much searching, which will be detailed in the video that I will be making about him, I didn't actually find any good replacement parts for anything. So I painted him as he is, and he looks awesome, but he is missing like a little backpack piece. So
okay, all right.
He still looks pretty legit. I figured
you were missing.
Yeah, if I find the backpack, eventually I'll paint it and put it on him. But for now, he looks. You wouldn't know if I just straight up didn't tell you and you weren't looking at a comparative picture. You'd be fine. It'd be fine. You wouldn't know. It's fine. Don't tell anybody.
Oh man, that's gonna itch though. You're always gonna know that stupid backpack isn't there.
That's true. I'm looking at him right now. He's like 10 feet away. I can see the not backpack on him. It's bad. But he looks good otherwise.
Okay.
Yeah. That's pretty much what I've been painting and doing. I mean, I got some other stuff, but I don't want to hog it all. I know you got more stuff. I know you've been up to.
I've only got one more interesting thing for the past couple of weeks. Yesterday, a 3D scanner showed up on my doorstep. So, Creality sent me their upcoming Lizard 3D scanner. I think that's what it's called. Okay. To test out. And so far, it is way more difficult than doing a 3D printer. So,
right.
I mean, this is kind of the two steps needed to recreate a physical object. You got to scan the physical object into the computer, and then you got to use the computer to print a copy of that physical object. And the fact that technology is at this stage right now, what a time to be alive. What a time to be alive.
It's almost like replicators from Star Trek. Almost.
In some ways, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool. And, as part of this kit, they send along a bust of, I don't know if it's David or somebody. They send along a Greco-Roman bust that's about the size of like a soda can or something. It's all white, and they send a turntable. So the idea is you put your bust or whatever you're scanning on the turntable. You set up the scanner like a foot away, and the scanner's almost looks like a little like projector or something. I think it has like 3 cameras on the front, and it blinks a little bit. And the object spins. It takes a bunch of pictures or whatever it's doing, and then the software is supposed to take all that and make it into a 3D object.
Okay.
And it mostly works.
It mostly works.
It mostly works. There's definitely a learning curve there, though. One, just getting the physical objects all in the right place to get good scans. Probably getting the lighting right's a bit tricky. But then the software itself, telling it that no, this is, you're looking at the turntable right now. You know what this is. This is the turntable. Stop.
This is the static thing that doesn't change. Stop it.
Yeah. And the software does have some features for like taking that out of the scan. And then what you're supposed to do is kind of position the object in a couple different orientations, maybe like raise the height of the scanner so that you're getting a couple of different viewpoints. And then there's ways to, you take multiple scans, and then there's ways to like link up the different files, integrate them all, and then supposedly then you get out a good STL. And so so far I've managed to like, it's just a learning curve. I'm working my way through it. So far I've been able to get okay scans of a single object. I haven't figured out how to link them up right yet.
Right.
We'll get there though. But so far my gut feeling is that this is way harder and more annoying than just printing an STL is if you have a 3D printer.
Right, yeah.
Which makes sense. This is what we're trying to do here is pretty tricky and awesome. And it makes sense that would be kind of tricky. But yeah, I'm a spectroscopist. I should be able to figure this out. Like I have no excuses for not figuring this out. So I'm just working my way through the learning curve one step at a time. Each step in the process that I learned is an achievement. We're doing it that way for now. But yeah, my gut feeling is that I'm gonna find that the soda can sized objects scan decently well, but minis, D&D, Warhammer, whatever, do not scan well yet. I think that's gonna be my takeaway. But very cool stuff.
Do you have one of the McFarlane like 40K action figures?
I do not.
Okay.
I probably have a dreadnought around here somewhere, like
that might work, yeah. I'm just thinking of one of the bigger models, see if that works. I am curious to see how far that technology can go, or how far it is currently, because there are definitely things that I wouldn't mind being able to scan, like breakable things, right? Like I've been having a real problem with copter blades.
Oh, sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Which seems like a pretty common thing. There are STLs out there, but like printing out resin is kind of like a little brittle sometimes. So I keep breaking them, especially during transport. But having, being able to, not necessarily that specifically, but items like that, just being able to scan that in and be like, okay, now I have a backup, right? I can just print some of those off real quick.
Right.
Like that would be pretty awesome.
I mean, pretty soon we're going to get to the point where we need to have the discussion about the ethics of scanning and reproducing objects. I'm not there yet. I'm still asking whether or not I can, and we'll get to whether or not I should here later. But,
right. That's a good point. Figure out if you even can yet, and then that's always how it works, right? You figure out if you can, and then you go, maybe should we not have?
Right.
I don't know.
That's the classic Dr. Malcolm. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, those cats are going nuts again, aren't they?
Yeah, they wake up around this time. That's what they do. Normally I can get Snuffles to sleep in the Indominus box. Well,
that's true. Not today, though.
Not
gonna
today.
Attack that microphone. Good
That's
kid.
right. You might need to take over here, Casey. What else is new with you?
I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking like, how do we move away from this? But people want the cat stuff, Brent. Don't cut the cat stuff.
No. The cat stuff will come. But anyway, on the 3D scanner, I will keep you updated. I think the case is going to be that it is not yet good enough to be scanning and copying minis in a high enough quality way that it's going to be an issue. But it may be like 12, 18 months until we're there, and then we'll revisit this.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I've seen, and I don't know if it's actually, I think it's scanned in, but I've seen painted models be scanned in and turned into 3D objects to be played in like virtual tabletops, right? So that you can have the actual, like, it looks like the model, it's like a picture. And it's 3D, and it's sitting there on the table, but it's not an actual like STL object that you could. I mean, I guess theoretically you could print it out, but it's kind of blobby and not really, it's got like a picture over the top of it. So
yeah. I mean, I was finding so far my experience has been like kind of the center line of the model is getting scanned pretty well. So like head, chest, that sort of stuff is scanning pretty well.
Sure.
But then like if they're holding the arms out doing something, the hands are not scanning very well. And I'm sure there's a bunch of optimization to be done. But
yeah.
On some of that stuff, if you just need like an image for a tabletop simulator, I bet you can get something pretty good. But if you're actually trying to copy something and you want your figure to have the same number of fingers it started out with,
yeah.
I bet somebody is going to do a really fun like multiplicity project of copy of a copy of a copy and seeing what happens there. And
it's very interesting, actually. Yeah.
So far, I think things are going to devolve fast enough that actually maybe that makes it more likely that somebody will do that as a video. But
it might be you.
Yeah, we'll see
in 18 months.
Yeah. But thanks, Creality, for sending me that. It's fun to play with. I'll let you know if I find any good and ethical uses for it.
Good and ethical. That is kind of the conundrum, right? Like, they're sending it to you, a miniature painter, who, it's like you also 3D print miniatures. It's not like you're inventing parts or needing to copy specific like things. I mean, it does seem like they're just like, oh yeah, we know this is wrong, but we didn't tell you to copy those minis. Like if you do, we didn't know about it.
There's gonna be, it is one of those things we see the YouTube fads coming, and there's going to be a lot of thumbnails with one of these scanners and a space marine in the thumbnail. And
definitely, yeah.
Definitely. Enjoy, internet, yeah.
I mean, yeah. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I was going to say, yeah. Okay. So it was a couple episodes ago. We talked about citing sources, right? Well, I found the perfect way to do it for YouTube. I've solved the conundrum, which wasn't much of a conundrum, but keeps it so that I don't actually have to cite anything, but I do at the same time. You see what I'm saying?
You just
So
copy a paragraph about the Creative Commons license and call it a day.
no. This is for real. Like, no. So instead of like using Google Images and pulling stuff and things that don't necessarily have names, I've just gone straight to Instagram, and then I just look for the hashtag of the thing that I'm talking about, and then just there's all of it right there. Open up the person's got all their stuff right there.
I saw that.
Perfect.
Yeah. No, that
perfect.
works. Yeah, just do a screen cap of your computer looking at Instagram. Boom, there you go.
Pretty much. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing, and it works really well.
As long as you're not cropping out their username, you're good. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, no, I got a little arrow. It's pointing to their username. Yeah, I just thought that was like a fun way to take care of that kind of issue where that's just not going to happen again.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty excited about it. Yeah, that's a small thing, but
problem solved.
Yeah. That's really all. That's
Well, we can get into the main topic then. We don't have to dilly dally with what have you been up to, what have I been up to, because we got done what we needed to get done here. Yeah, let's get into the main topic. Bring us in.
Well, all right then. So our main topic for today is kind of an interesting one, at least I think. Can you take the hobby too far? It's a question that we should definitely be asking ourselves more often than not, because I think in a lot of cases, like, we do take the hobby too far, and I think it's a bad thing on multiple levels. It can be unhealthy, and there's a lot of other things. So I wanted to kind of get into that. I wrote down a bunch of stuff. Brent wrote down a bunch of stuff, and we're kind of gonna go through each of these things, decide whether or not it's just you can take it too far. Yeah, it's the best way to put it.
Sure. So, episode 1 of this podcast, we talked about this being a great hobby to get into and why this is a good use of your time compared to so many of the other things you could be doing in life. And we are obviously both advocates for getting in there and painting some minis. Because we think it is mostly a healthy pursuit, but there are times when, as with any addiction, you can take things too far. And so part of this talk is actually going to dovetail with a podcast from Paint All the Minis. And so they did an episode, actually, I think like 3 episodes in a row about sustainable gaming. And just wanted to make sure to cite that. It's been a year or two since I listened to that episode. But as with any pursuit, you can kind of get addicted and go down a rabbit hole and take things too far. So, normally we spend our time suggesting that you paint minis, but for today, while you're listening to this, stop painting. Hopefully you're painting while you're listening to this, but stop painting.
Yeah.
Look around your room. We're going to give you some warning signs of, things you might want to be on the lookout for that might tip you off, that maybe... maybe there's some adjustments that could be made. Maybe you just dial it back a few notches and get to a healthier place.
Yeah, just to keep things kind of within the podcast before we really jump in, our hobby rating system says that a level 10 is taking it too far. So, consult that episode, and that'll also help kind of determine that.
Yeah, I mean, that episode we said if you do the math on your hobby space rating system and you end up with a number bigger than 10, don't tell anybody, cap it at 10. There's no benefit to be had from telling everybody that you're at a 13.5. You shouldn't be proud of that.
Exactly.
Friends don't want to hear about it.
Exactly. So that's all. I just wanted to open with that, since that's kind of already been established somewhat. The first thing that is on the list. I put on the list because not too long ago I was doing a conversion and it got away from me, like in a really not good way. Like I just kept adding pieces and then cutting other things off and adding more and then going, oh, you know, it's gotta need this, and then I want to use this weird bit, and I just kind of slammed it all together, and I didn't feel good about it. And so conversions, can you take conversions too far? Like, have you seen just the most ridiculous conversion that's just like, why would you do that?
Most people congratulate awesome conversions.
Awesome. I mean,
this is actually
awesome,
the one item on the list that I really disagree with you on, Casey. Right? Okay. I don't see where you're coming from. Like, I know you had that one project with the strong arm Hellbrute or whatever.
Yeah, that's the one.
And you were like, man, I'm spending too much time on this. Doesn't even make sense that he'd have this big beefy arm. Why am I giving him this big beefy arm?
Well, I gave him a little arm. I gave him a pincher claw.
Yeah.
Like,
no, everybody else on the internet said, hey, that's a pretty cool conversion there. Casey's like, too far, man. Too far.
I'm like, I found the line. Everyone's like, it seems fine to me. Like, I don't know. I'm like, no, I went way over the line.
Why is this the first item on your list, Casey? What is this?
Well, this is what sparked my thought of like, can you take the hobby too far? Because that's where I was like, you know what? This is it. This is the end of the line for me. I've done too much. Like, it was over the top, and like I've grown to like the model a little bit more. I still want to do some other things to it to not make it like that, but I don't know. It's like I might as well move on to another project at this point. It's like I can't handle it. I don't know. Mostly what I actually meant by that is that when you start to convert a model and you're not actually, like, you don't have a plan, and you're just throwing, parts and pieces and bits at it. Well, all of a sudden, like, the actual total amount of money or potential money, if you bought a bunch of bits or, whatever, however you got your bits, that has gone into this model, like, outweighs most other kits that you potentially have gotten or put together, right? So you've taken something to the point where a $5 or $20 model is now like a $120 model.
There is a financial component to all this. We'll get to the financial, can you take things too far?
I know.
Oh, yeah.
But as far as just strictly conversions. Now, and I can also think of another example of like taking two like new kits and then just like half and halving them and putting them together. Right, to make the same one model. So now you're taking, and it's kind of financially a little bit, but it's like responsibility wise, I don't know. Like, it seems so irresponsible. Like, I took a Caradron Overlord's gunship, like a hauler, which is like a $50 model, and then that like weird like sloth guy from the new Cruel Boys line, and I put that ship on his back. Right. So now I took a $35 kit and a $50 kit, and I made an expensive model that's still just a $35 kit, right? Like, it's not different. So, yeah.
That's real good.
That's kind of what I'm getting at. And it's not that the conversions are necessarily bad. It's just there's a responsibility and a feel-bad moment when you have gone too far.
You got some extra bits left over from that. You get some more conversions out of all that.
I mean, my friend did just give me his leftover bits from the Gargant box, the big one. And I used the Gargant bits that I bought on eBay a while back to make that Hellbrute. But now I got replenished, so it worked
That's out. A good friend right there. That's a real good friend.
He's a good friend. He built the model he wanted. He's like, I don't want the rest. He doesn't keep bits, so yeah.
All right. So part of that feeling you're touching on is the taking a step back and being like, wait, what am I doing here? What
exactly?
What has been going on? And so I'm gonna tell a little bit of a story, or not a story, but like a caution. So take a break. Think about what you're doing. Think about what you're doing, like with the model in front of you, but then expand your focus out. Take in the rest of the desk. Take in the rest of the room. I want you to look for a couple of things. One, If there is a bottle of urine anywhere in your hobby room, you've taken things too far. If there's a bottle of urine or multiple, you really need to evaluate, and this is really what we should have started with, Casey.
That's a good point.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Hopefully nobody's like pointing fingers right now, but okay, let's now we're going to look for other warning signs. Dirty dishes. If there's a empty bowl of ice cream, okay, go take that down to the sink. Go put that in the dishwasher. If there are 2 or more empty bowls of ice cream or cereal bowls or milkshakes, if you're at like 2 or more dairy products that are dirty dishes sitting in your hobby room, you need to take a moment, put those away. While you're at it, put some more water in the cat's bowl. While you're at it,
good opportunity.
Yeah. Do a the rest of the check to make sure that you haven't been ignoring some real life issues piling up around you.
Right. I like these. I'm often in that position where there's like a plate and a fork somewhere. Where I was doing a hobby.
Yep, one is normal.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
I've gotten multiple. I've definitely been at the multiple stage of that, and like there's like a couple of glasses around. Quick tip to get around that a little bit is use coffee mugs, because then they're just basically paint pots or water pots. So, just saying. That doesn't get out of hand. I have 3 behind me over here just because.
There you go. So you
I didn't drink out of any
those.
of them.
Yeah, you don't even have to wash out the food. You just put your paint water in there. There you go.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, I also have listed fast food wrappers. You got your Panda Express box over there. Throw that out.
That's the same as a plate, right? Like a bag with a takeout box in it. It's definitely the same.
Yeah. Make a quick search for hairballs or anything like that on your way out, So this is the sort of cautionary tales I'm talking about go along with any other like addiction. So especially like internet addiction, gaming addiction. Hey, take a step back, reset, get your life under control. Then get back into painting that Argonaut frigate,
Yeah. It's okay to take a break. It's okay. Really, folks, we're really trying to tell ourselves these things at the same time. We're not trying to single anybody out. This applies 100% to both of us.
Yeah.
Now, I have never
somebody with urine bottles is feeling pretty bad right now, though.
I mean, I mean, you should. I don't really know how else to put that.
You can get better, though. There's a simple fix here.
It's a very simple fix, and it's not that far away, really.
Yeah. All right. So we're just getting the basics out of the way here. Getting the basics out of the way.
That's a good one. I like that. I should have thought of that, and I apologize. Before going on my conversions rant. It feels so not important now.
Yeah. So my list of things that I wrote down are all. A lot of them have crossover with like I've been playing way too much of whatever video game you're playing too much of. So, and all the risks of a sedentary lifestyle. Hey, get up and stretch a little bit. Right now, as I'm sitting here speaking to you, I have a really bad crick in my neck because I was speed painting too many speed paints.
Right. Oh yeah, those like 22, 23 models. Like, that's a lot. Like, you really shouldn't have gone on a marathon like that.
I've had this crick in my neck for like 3 days now, and I think it's on its way to getting better. But every night I go to bed, I just like ease myself into bed, stretch out as much as I can.
I was going to say, got to do those stretches, man.
Get to sleep, and then in the morning, I just, it moved to my shoulder. Oh, no.
It brings up the old, we had a whole episode, I think, about this, like, about stretching before you paint, or was it like warming up or something before you paint? I think that's what it was. Should you warm up before you paint? That's a good idea.
It's a good idea.
It's not a bad idea.
It's a good idea.
Still. And we, in that episode, actually, that was probably 25, 30 episodes ago, we did say, we both were like, we are going to try this for like the next 2 weeks, and we both just didn't bother.
Classic.
So
Total
no
classic.
no update whatsoever on that. It's been a year and a half since that came out.
Yeah. But yeah, so there's definitely ergonomic concerns of sitting in one place, making sure your back, your shoulder, your wrist, whatever is all taken care of.
Yep.
Consider your real life obligations to yourself in addition to your obligations to your orcs.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it honestly, like every time I clean out my hobby space, I clean it up and get it all nice and fresh. Like, I feel good. Makes me feel like doubly motivated to like get more stuff done. So It's not a bad way to go.
So one nice thing about mini painting is it normally doesn't coincide with substance abuse in the way that like video gaming can. Like it's hard to drink more than 3 or 4 beers and still be painting minis.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
it depends on who you are.
But if you're yelling at 12-year-olds while you're playing Counter-Strike, I mean, you can get pretty deep on that. You can go pretty hard on substance abuse and be, yelling at 12-year-olds in Call of Duty.
Oh, for sure.
Luckily, there's kind of a natural cap on that for mini painting.
Right, like at a certain point, you're just like, I can't.
Yeah, your coordination, your eye focus tells you, hey, stop drinking those beers. So that is a good thing. Normally, we don't have to worry too much about the substance abuse going along with mini painting. But the normal risks of sedentary lifestyle and just sitting there and every meal being a Panda Express from DoorDash or whatever. That's still a concern, huh?
And expensive.
Expensive.
Like, I was with you until you're like from DoorDash, and I'm like, who are these people?
I don't do that, no. But
we're like 3 meals a day from DoorDash. Like, jeez, man.
If the only reason you're getting up from your chair is a quick bathroom break and filling up on ice cream again, like we got to talk. Huh?
Yeah.
I mean, a couple of days of that's all right, but
it depends. You're treating yourself. It's different.
You gotta treat yourself. Treat yourself. Yeah.
You're fine at that point, but if it's beyond
put those
that,
dishes away.
Yeah. It starts stacking up. Like, if you have to lick off an old spoon okay, we're done. I'm done.
Yeah. But yeah, take the time to stretch and like I haven't gotten any physical activity for like 2 weeks at this point, and I'm feeling like a slug right now. And I've been painting lots of minis, but there is that trade-off there. And part of what we're talking about today is making sure you're getting your trade-offs right, and you're not putting too much into the mini painting. Take a step back, assess.
I think it's good not to take the like the sedentary nature of mini painting too far. Yeah.
Something to be aware of. Get up every once in a while, cook a somewhat nutritious meal for your family. Go to your child's hockey game. Remember to pick your child up after school. Like all of these things.
Oh man. I was late picking my son up from daycare after our conversation the other day. Like, I was like, hey Brent, you got like 20 minutes to talk? Painting? Well, yeah, we were talking about this podcast. Like, we were setting up and getting ready, and then I was like, my wife texted me. She's like, are you picking up the kid? I'm like, oh no. I'm like, wait, I gotta go. So yeah, it's real. It is real, and it can happen to you.
On my way.
Basically, I was like, oh yeah, I'm fine. Don't worry about it. Yeah, he wasn't the last kid there, so I made it.
No problem.
Yeah. Okay. So moving on a little bit. Now this just seems like a weird, like, oh, let's just go to the next thing. But attitude. Sometimes I think, I don't know, if you lose a game, maybe it is, or maybe you have a conversation with somebody about the deep lore We're gonna kind of put two together here, and some things go kind of into argument territory. Like, I think attitude in this hobby especially can be taken too far. I think people take things very seriously when in fact this is supposed to be a good time, supposed to be fun all the time. Mm-hmm. That is certainly the point. Like, I see it a lot in like, even if you're just playing a game, right? You're supposed to be playing a game with somebody, and it's supposed to be casual, right? It's like you're at a store maybe, or you're at a kitchen table, and it's like, no, like, I'm definitely half an inch over here, ready here, and I can do this and this and this, and then somebody goes, well, I don't know, you're kind of off, but it's like, what's the fun thing to do? What's the not dick thing to do?
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, sometimes that competitive play is taking it too far. Yeah.
Right. And I think there's a time and a place.
It's a real tricky line.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's tricky. I don't know. I'm going to challenge you on that a little bit. I don't know if it's tricky. I think if you're at a tournament and the point is to, like, be very specific, then I think you're all right. But I think if you're at home and you're having a good time, like, yeah, I don't think there's any reason to get all heated.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, making sure you're not taking it too far with the home games. There you go. I'm with you.
All right. Yeah. I like that. What else we got? I think that, I'm trying to think of, like, I'm trying to segue into more of those things, because it seems like some of the stuff that I wrote down kind of meshes together, if you know what I mean. It's like you got the gaming the game kind of people who like to, like, metagame the game all the time and want to get it. Brent needs a timeout.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Okay, so the gaming side of taking things too far. Yeah, so we got into the attitude portion, got into, like, the deep lore portion a little bit. We didn't go too far down that rabbit hole. But talking about gaming the game, like, being the kind of person that it, like, you know, you look for every little single loophole, every little thing to just exploit. And while I think it's, like, fine on a certain level of, you know, again, competitive gaming, like, if you're trying to just, like, destroy someone for the sake of doing so and not really enjoying the game, I think you start to lose a little something. Like,
friends. You lose a little something, like friends, respectability, people that want to hang out with you. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I think if you have like, if I go into a game with somebody, I'm like, okay, look, we're going to, like, hardcore mode this, and I'm going to try and table you. Like, I'm going to do the best I can to make sure that you lose in the most fashionable, horrible way possible. If you're both in the same agreement, like, great. Because that's the point, right? That's on the, again, like, that kind of competitive side. But, like, okay, here's a good example. If you walk into a game store and you bring the cheese list, and there's, like, a 14-year-old kid who's never played before, and he's like, oh man, that's such a cool looking blah blah army, and you're like, yeah, let's play, and then you just destroy that kid and he never wants to play again.
Yeah, what are you doing?
That's too much.
Well,
taking it too far.
Yeah, may have gone too far in a few places.
Maybe a few, more than a few.
Several. If the 14-year-old kind of stops talking about their army and just kind of quiets down and just is looking at the rule book, and they're just looking like a foot in front of them down at the table the entire time. Maybe think about,
right,
is that something going on in their life, or is that something going on with you? Are you the cause of that? Yeah.
Just now, yeah. Did he just say, check out my brand new this model that I painted and I'm so proud of? And literally the next turn, you shot it off
damage to make sure it would die that turn. That? Yeah.
Right. Command reroll, no less. Like, you spent a point on that. That's mean. Are you being mean for the sake of being mean to this kid who didn't do anything to you?
Yeah. Take a look at that.
Yeah, you might be taking this hobby too far if that's the case. You know, that I guess falls in the same camp as like rule Nazis, you know? Like, I get that there's a rule for a reason, but like, I don't know, personally, I think if something is going to be, like, if the outcome seems like it might be more fun a different way, then like, yeah, okay, you're half an inch closer than, you know, you thought you were. Like, this is going to be fun. You know what I mean? Like, is that charge going to thematically be more fun if they make it by half an inch? Or it just doesn't happen? You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, in a fun, casual environment.
Yeah. This whole episode is about maintaining perspective. And just throughout this hobby, hey, take a step back. What's going on? What's going on around me?
Yeah.
How are the people doing well? Are the animals fed and watered? What's going on around me? That's all we're talking about here.
Yeah. I think there's definitely something to be said for taking a step back, getting a little bit of clarity and perspective on your own situation, and kind of looking at other people as people, right? Like, you go into a hobby shop and everybody's different. Everybody's got what they want to do. They're doing something. And, you know, like, start being a judgy asshole. Like, nobody's going to want to play a game with you.
That's a good point.
You know?
That's a good point.
Maybe don't do that.
Stop that slide before it gets too far. That's what we're saying.
There's just no reason for it.
Right. Let's, I got another one here. Twitter. Yeah. If you're using Twitter for your hobby, pretty much you've gone too far.
I'd say exactly. Yeah, that Twitter is the
worst social media platform. It incentivizes people to be mean to each other. Frequently, I realize like, hey, bad. I'm having a lot of negative feelings, and I feel like I want to act on these negative feelings, and it all just stems from the fact that I have a Twitter account.
You went on Twitter that day, yeah. That sounds about right.
So if you are ever kind of taking stock of where you are in your hobby, and you've been trying to be a little bit active on the social media communities, Instagram is the answer. Instagram is the correct one. Twitter is the incorrect one. And yet, hey, there's different communities, different places. There's good and good people to be found everywhere. If you have the discipline to use it responsibly, knock yourself out. It's just a much higher risk of taking things too far, and you're not gonna have a good time. So
the weird thing is that, like, Twitter seems like a more personal kind of thing because people are themselves, like, they have their specific name. It's like Facebook, right? It's your name on the comment. It's not like a handle.
Oh, it can be a handle.
I mean, it can be, but generally speaking, like, I mean, I don't know. I guess that's just me. It's just people in general I see. Well, it's like, okay, like celebrities. They're basically just going to have their name, right? Little check mark next to it. And I mean, obviously, like, you're Goobertown on Twitter, but you wouldn't necessarily have to be.
I don't
know. It's
an interesting question of which social media platforms you're more likely to use your actual name on. Probably Facebook is the one where most people are using their actual name. It doesn't seem to make people that much better people.
Yeah, and maybe I'm just reading into it. I don't know. But because like Instagram, I guess nobody uses their real name, do they? Like, for the most part.
I don't think so. Well, no, you can. You can.
Maybe it's the exact opposite.
Again, it'd be interesting to see just a 2-question survey of, do you use your real name? Do you use some stupid handle on all these social media platforms for this hobby? But
right. It is interesting.
No, I thought it was kind of like other aspects of the platform, like the short responses, the way you tag people, the general feel of that hellhole.
I mean, that's really just what it comes down to, right? It is a garbage hellhole that you should stay away from.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I've had fine interactions on Twitter, but like, there is a lot of just garbage on
Yeah,
Twitter.
it makes
that
all of
I
us
do
worse
not wanna be a
people.
part of.
And
Yeah.
being able to recognize that and scale back is a tricky thing to do, I can say with experience, but it's something to take stock of.
Yeah. I mean, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if there's a point, honestly. Like, I should just delete my Twitter and be done with it.
Yeah. Oh, well, just because of the YouTube thing, I've been trying to learn these different social media platforms, and I went YouTube, then I went to Instagram, and then Twitter, and I was sort of trying TikTok, because you're supposed to be connected in all these places. But
I mean, I guess it depends.
Yeah.
Depends.
And the lesson is you don't have to be if you don't want to be. Instagram is real. It was really a pretty nice place. Pretty.
Right.
So
pretty good. If
the internet side of your hobby is just really grinding your gears, cultivate that a little bit. Be able to recognize that is causing you negative stress, negative emotions. That is ruining your part of your time in the hobby, and hey, cut back on that.
Yeah. I mean, there's certainly, like, you can block people.
Oh yeah.
Like, you just can, and then you don't have to deal with them. Like, it's kind of amazing, really. Like, and it's not that hard to do these days. So, yeah, like, if anybody's just like, even if somebody was like, you know what, and this kind of plays into the next thing I want to talk about. If somebody's like, you know what, like, you didn't paint that right. You just didn't do the correct job. Well, you know what, you blocked. You're blocked.
Oh.
Don't need to hear it. That's not helpful. I don't care. Like, and I mean, some of this stems from just YouTube in general, but like people coming at you going, according to the lore, or according to this, or because I personally like it better the other way. Like, this should not be painted this way. And it's like, I don't care. What do you think? Like, that's not how this works. Like, I'm going to paint it how I want to paint it.
Has your block finger gotten lighter over the years?
Oh, man, It is like a feather.
Okay.
Like, I mean, it comes down like a hammer, believe me.
Mm-hmm.
But, man, it flaps quite often. Yeah, like, I don't care anymore. Like, if somebody has, and really, the way that I think about it now is not to save my feelings to having to read something because, like, fuck them. Like, they don't know me. Who cares?
Yeah.
It's honestly to maintain for the community, the other people who are there who want good advice, who want to have a good conversation, who don't want to be bombarded by dickheads. Like, if somebody's even a little bit, they're just like, oh, well, you're kind of shitty. It's like, blocked. Okay. Like, you have a problem with somebody blocked. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, but you can't just act like that and not have consequences. Like, I own this domain.
Yeah.
It's my space. Yeah.
Yeah. So for all of this, just cultivating your internet experience is a useful thing to keep in mind. And yeah, I think I blocked somebody yesterday just for having the username Let's Go Brandon. They asked like a pretty reasonable question on the account, but I was just like, nope, we're not dealing with this. Like, that's,
you never know what's coming next.
I'm getting kind of a 50-50 read on you right now, but it's we're just going to cultivate this internet experience here and move forward. Right.
Yeah. As you can do whenever you want. So just remember that, people. You can however you need to.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it.
Yeah.
That, like, the likelihood of you actually ever running into somebody or talking to somebody is like, hey man, like, did you block me from your Facebook account? Like, I can't see the posts.
Oh, that's weird. Weird. I don't remember blocking you. Like, it was probably a half-second decision that I made to greatly improve the rest of my day. I don't know.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, and it does feel good. I'm just gonna tell you right now. Yeah.
Okay. So we've got the pruning of the internet experience, and I think that is actually we could do a whole episode on that. But I think it's a very useful thing to keep in mind. Most people won't even know that you blocked them, and you'll both be happier for it for not having that interaction of yep.
Yeah.
The internet can connect you with a lot of people you'll like that'll make your life better, and a lot of other folks. So
a lot of other folks.
Yep.
That's true. Let's go into something a little more maybe on the personal side, personal level.
Okay.
I guess is too many models. Can you own too many?
Oh,
models?
You can take that pretty far.
Is it taking that too far? I think it's very easy to take that too far. And I think for a lot of people in this hobby, I think that's the norm. Like, because we collect, right? We're collectors. We like to see the boxes stacked side by side. Like, I have that kit. I have that whatever. But I definitely feel, and it's more and more lately, I guess, that there is a point that you can hit, and it is just too far. If you're not painting things, like I legitimately pulled open a drawer today, and I forgot that I bought a model. Like I pulled a model, and I was like, "Holy crap! I own this model." I didn't even know.
That is the indicator that you have taken things too far. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. It's not good. I mean, I have models all over the place, and I was looking for construction paper, dude. Like, I opened a drawer for construction paper, and I was like, I own this model? Yeah. So it can happen. It was a Scribus something. He's right.
A Scrimbus?
Scribus?
Scribus.
Yeah, Scribus Wretch, the tally man for the Death Guard.
Well, there you go.
I mean, this is like $40.
That's a pretty cool model right there, Casey.
It's a sweet model. I love this model. I love it. I want it.
Yeah,
but here it is.
One
like,
of these Scribuses that you had down under the construction paper. Yeah, real good.
Yeah, I vaguely remember buying this, like, I don't know, when it came out, maybe a couple years ago. Like, I meant to do something with it, and I never did. I don't know. Like, I mean, I made a video about this a while ago. Like, this whole, like, backlog, pile of shame, pile of opportunities just crushing down on me. And it's like, I'm even thinking about making a video where I'm just like, I put every model together that I own just in a week.
Mm-hmm.
I built everything, right? Just to get it out of the way. But even then, like, I'm not going to paint all those models, like, most likely. You know, it sounds nice on paper. Like, I went out and bought, like, basically a Stormcast army because Warpfire gave us those dragons, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, man, like, this is a perfect excuse to do this. And I did. And I spent a good chunk of change. And now I literally have like 2,500 points of Stormcast that I hope they get painted.
Oh, they'll get painted. They'll get painted.
Maybe look, if that Avatar of Cain is any indication, like, I will paint that shit in like 20 years. And, you know, according to our first episode, this hobby will last you a long time. So maybe I'll get there. But I do think that it is worth noting that we should probably take a step back, just like we've kind of been saying. Note your spending, note what you're doing, and ask yourself if you actually need that box. Like, Curse City's coming back, but did you really miss it? Did you really care after you're like, I didn't get one, whatever. You got over it. And it didn't feel bad.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
it is coming back.
I think people are starting to understand the cycle of these, you know, FOMO boxes, these FOMO box sets, and are starting to understand that there will always be a next new thing 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
So, like, you don't necessarily need this next new thing.
I mean, like I've said before, man, I honestly wish some of these companies, and it is Games Workshop in particular, that would just slow down on the releases. Like, I want what you have, but I cannot keep up.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
I mean, there is an argument to be made of there being some value in retail therapy. Like, you do get a little burst of the good chemicals when you first buy and acquire a new set of whatever that you think you're going to be really into.
About that Reboot Guillemot.
And understanding that the reverse side of that coin is that you're going to start piling up valuable objects that are commitments around you.
They are, like, hands down, man. They're commitments. And, you know, maybe you just watched Brent's video on speed paints and you're feeling like that commitment's a little less.
Yeah, just knock them out. Yeah, get that black primer on there, do a white dry brush, chuck on those tinty colors, and call it a day. Boom.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, just expand your focus out a little bit from your hobby desk. Think about your pile. Think about, you know, whether that's maybe gone a bit too far in a few places. Especially if your pile has started to like crowd in on your hobby desk and it's taken up that valuable square footage.
I wish I could I could legitimately take a picture of my hobby space, and I should do like some kind of a tour just for the podcast, not even for my own channel's sake, but like, I've taken things too far, Brent.
Well, I know you have, Casey.
Things have gotten out of hand.
I forgive you.
And
I forgive you. And
I appreciate that. I don't know if I can forgive myself.
So yeah, there is the mental weight of the obligation that a pile of shame represents. That man, I got to get to all this stuff, and I got to get to this, and I got to do this, I got to do this, and so that all weighs on you. And of course, if you have found yourself in this situation, you may have gone too far financially too. So,
I mean, yeah.
You know, a hobby is a nice place to put your excess dollars, but do make sure they're excess dollars.
That's a good.
If you ever find yourself kind of juggling when you will pay your rent because of Cursed City box, that's one of those times to be like, hey, do I really need this Cursed City box? You know.
Yeah. Man, I've been there too.
Oh, sure. Sure.
Definitely been there.
Mm-hmm.
So again, a lot of this stuff can apply and does apply to either one of us or both of us at the same time. We're not trying to single anybody out. This is stuff that we're
the worst offenders on most of these things. Yeah. That's why we know so much about
that out there again. Right. I mean, the only one I can't really relate to is like the deep lore asshole. Like, I can't do that. I don't know anything about the lore of any of these games. I don't know.
Well, I made a video about trying to get into the Horus Heresy, and that I made it to like book 21, 22, realized that...
Man, that's so deep.
Realized that nothing had happened, that there was book like 21 where Sanguinius found out that demons were real. Like, oh, he's a main character. He found out about the plot of this series on book 21. This is a bad indication. Like,
it's slow. That's funny.
Oh, this series may have gone a bit too far. I may have taken it a bit too far by buying the first 21 audiobooks for the Horus Heresy series.
Did the Horus Heresy take it too far? We'll let that be something up to you, I think. Yeah, because I don't know.
All I knew about the Horus Heresy is that the Emperor kills Horus. The Emperor kills Horus, who killed Sanguinius. Right. So, like, the three characters you need are the Emperor, Horus, and Sanguinius. And book 21 is where Sanguinius learns anything about the plot of this series. And there's been like 2 total scenes with the Emperor so far. It's like, oh,
is it one of those like Game of Thrones wrap-ups where it's like it's super slow until the last like 2 books, and then all of a sudden all the stuff goes down, and it's like, oh, I guess we're wrapping this up.
I don't know. Like, I know there's some plot beats that need to be hit, but I don't know when in the next 68 books that happens, and I'm not too interested in finding out. So, but yeah, sometimes you you got to assess, take a step back. Hey, what's going on around me? Where have I been putting my Audible credit books? Yeah,
That's a good point.
What have I been
like
investing in?
Credits.
Yeah. But yeah, back to the financial side of things. Like if your hobby purchases are legitimately interfering with rent, phone bill, cable bill, gas, electric, take stock. Maybe think about the priorities.
Yeah,
I like to. I figure that money is actually expendable if I can quantify it in like Chipotle burritos. Like
I do that with Subway sandwiches. Right?
Okay. So it's a similar
like
system.
$5
It's a very similar
kind of
system. Yeah,
very similar.
If I'm buying like a stupid box of models for fun, I say, hey, yeah, how many chicken burritos with guacamole is this?
Exactly.
Because that is that is a luxury item. I like that luxury item, and it has value to me. But I understand that's my funny money right there. Is my burrito dollars.
Yeah, that's important, man.
Yeah,
I mean, because you got to eat, right? Mm-hmm. Like this Scribus Wretch is 7 burritos. That's straight up. That's 7 burritos, man.
Where are you getting your burritos, man? I think Chipotle, Qdoba are up to like $10 each. So.
Oh, okay. Then we're talking.
It's actually been a little while since I've had any burritos. I don't know, but
I'm tired. Okay, so I go to this burrito place called Super Burrito, and it is a super burrito. And their burritos are $5.
Ooh.
Yeah, and they are delicious. In fact, when you come to town, we should probably partake in a super burrito.
Okay, your 6 or 7 burrito price tag sounds better now.
I mean, that's what I was going $5 footlongs, right? Because that's the way to do it. So 7 footlong sandwiches, like that's 7
true.
feet, man.
That's true.
It's a lot of feet a sandwich.
Hold on,
Yeah.
you have here something else. If you have Alexa voice control for your airbrush, you might have taken things too far.
Yeah, computer, turn on my airbrush.
Okay.
Like, yeah, that's 1,000% too far. And that really is the kind of thing that you just shouldn't do. Don't do that. Man, I was straight up using that all day.
But if you've already done it, I mean, might as well keep it, right?
Oh, I'm not getting rid of it. Yeah. Like, it's too good.
Yeah. Throw out the fast food wrappers, clean up your dishes, throw out those bottles of urine, but you can keep Alexa hooked up to your airbrush.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's too far in like kind of a funny good way. Yeah.
I mean, look, for $1, I'd do it. I'd do it again.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. See, and that's computer. Turn off my airbrush.
Okay.
I didn't have to turn around.
Real good.
So good, man.
Real good.
Yeah. See, it kept going on. That's why I did it, though. It's like I forget to turn it off, and then I go away to the other, and it's the compressor goes off every, like a minute. Super annoying. Yeah. Anyways, before we get to the end of this podcast, I did want to mention mini wargaming campaign. You know more about this than I do, but I did want to mention it because I feel like we should.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What is it?
Do you have the name of it here? It's
That's what it is.
The veil
Ravaged
touched
Star.
something. Are we going to mention that
Ravaged.
Mini Wargaming is running a crowdfunding campaign, but not have the name of the campaign?
It's called Ravaged Star.
Ravaged.
Isn't it?
Okay, there you go. That's right.
I said it like 4 times.
Okay.
I did.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. That's the link. I have the link. I'm going to put it in the description of the podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's already funded. It looks cool.
It does.
It's a bunch of minis and a game, I assume.
It is.
A game also.
It is. The minis are not exactly Chaos Space Marines, but some of them look kind of close. So I'm I'm wishing them all the best in terms of their upcoming legal battles, but it is a cool set of minis.
Yeah.
I'll give them that. And I've been speed painting
regardless.
them and having fun. So yeah.
That's good. That's good. Well, on that note, thank you again for joining us on another episode of Paint Bravely. If you enjoyed this podcast, please help us out by leaving us a review on iTunes, subscribing to the YouTube channel, and sharing this message with your hobby friends. And as always, we appreciate each and every one of you for listening, and we will talk to you next time.
We appreciate you. Thanks for listening. Talk to you next time.
We should definitely just quantify everything in burritos from now on. I think that's perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think burritos is funnier than footlongs too.
They're both good. They hit different audiences, I think. Yeah, it's good.
That's true. I mean, a good sandwich, but you know, a burrito is I don't know, feels more universal, like maybe more transcontinental. I don't know.